So in a recent Instagram live feed from Herpa Wings, Herpa confirmed that they have no plans of making any business jets whatsoever. But what does it look like when Herpa actually does make a business jet? With that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at a Boeing 767-300ER of Roman Abramovic Enterprises. And if you have no idea what that is about, well, we will get into that a little bit later. But we start off with the box where we have the cutout, so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside. On the back side of the box, we then have a lovely image of the aircraft in real life. We can see it's a limited edition, a Herpa Wings Club model. We have the original dimensions and some additional information. And here she is, the Boeing 767-300ER of Roman Abramovic Enterprises. Roman Abramovic is a Russian billionaire, and outside of Russia he's mainly known as the owner of the Premier League football club Chelsea FC. And as a billionaire you're obviously supposed to have a business jet, and this is the one he owns. And Herpa has miraculously made a model of it, so let's take a closer look. Now obviously we don't have huge amounts of detailing in the livery itself, but we do of course still have a decent amount of detailing in the print of the aircraft overall. Of course, on the fuselage and the back we find the full registration code of the aircraft, and we do for example also find a little bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. And while Scale 500 aircraft don't have antennas, you can indicate them with a print, which we find on the top of the fuselage. Very lovely. Now, the livery itself isn't hugely spectacular when it comes to the amount of colors. It mainly focuses on grey and beige tones, but I think it looks really nice. Now, obviously, most private jets have relatively discreet liveries, which has a purpose, obviously. This, however, was a little bit famous because of the black markings we see here around the cockpit windows, which led the aircraft to get the nickname the Bandit. And you have to remember, this is way before the A350 came onto the market, which of course today is known as the Raccoon. Now, I should also quickly mention that despite the black markings around the windows, Herpa actually managed to also print the window wipers on, which is kind of nice. It's difficult to see because they're also black, but they are there. Moving on to the engine nacelles, they have been given the same design as the livery, so using these grey and beige tones. I think that look rather nice, also with the silver leading edge. If you look at the engines from the backside, I think that looks okay. And if you look into the engines from the front, that's very nice, where we can see the engine fan blades. And then on the fuselage, just above the wings, we have the emergency exit printed on. But if we move on and take a look at the wings, we can see here they look really nice. Of course, part of that is simply because of the livery, but we have all the flaps, slats and spoilers carved out very nicely. We have the markings for the emergency exits. We have the full registration code of the aircraft, which we then also find on the underside of the wings. And my personal highlight on these wings, when we look here at the front of the wing, we can see Herpa has actually managed to print on the landing lights, a detail that Herpa very rarely puts on, even on Herpa Wings Club models. Also, the landing gear looks rather nice. Of course, here the main landing gear, that is pretty much the standard landing gear we get from Herpa Wings, but I think it looks really nice in this case. But my highlight here is the front landing gear, and that's just because we have a little bit of a marking here printed on. It's so simple, it's such a small little thing, but it just adds a lot. And those are the types of details we unfortunately only get with Herpa Wings Club models. And then last but not least, we of course also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here, the back side of the aircraft, and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Boeing 767-300ER of Roman Abramovic Enterprises, a business jet from Herpa Wings. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Well, obviously, as it is a Herpa Wings Club models, there are a few printed details that we otherwise wouldn't get normally from Herpa Wings. And any of these details are absolutely welcomed. For a business jet, the livery is rather spectacular, but even if it had been a much more simple livery, I would have appreciated the model, because it's a business jet. It's an area that Herpa simply has neglected far too much. So a model like this might not be something for a collector who just wants to display his models, but it's definitely something for any collector who wants to have an airport display. And for that, I'd say it's absolutely worth having in one's collection. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like. That would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.